Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Jai Shri Krishna Radhe Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopikanta Radhakanta Namostute Tapta Kanchan Gourangi Radhe Vrindaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripi Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chev Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jai Mudire. बोलो श्री राधे गोलोकानंद भगवान की जय। बोलो श्रीमद् भागवतम की
जय।
जय। हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा
हरे कृष्णा
कृष्णा निशा तरुण हरे कृष्णा
कृष्णा
बोलो प्रेम सर हरे कृष्णा
हरे कृष्णा।
तो लास्ट वीक हम लोग श्लोक 13 पढ़ रहे थे ऑफ 12 अध्याय या छठवां स्कंद हम लोग पढ़ रहे हैं। देयर आर टोटल 12 skans, right? We are on scan 6. Few more adhyayas to go through for this scan before we start the 7th. And in this adhyay, what we are reading right now is the fight between whom?
Indra and Vritasura.
Yeah. So between Indradev and Vṛtrāsura. And as we know, Vṛtrāsura, right? He appeared as a huge demon while Tvashta was doing the yajna to take revenge of his son, whose name was what? What was the name of Rishi, who was son of Tvashta, who was also guru of all devatas? What was the name?
बृहस्पति
No. Brihaspati was...
Right. Brihaspati to guru the devtaon ke. Devatas insulted, did not give full respect to Brihaspati when Brihaspati came to their sabha. Brihaspati walked out, and then Lord Brahma advised devatas to take shelter of Rishi Vishwarup.
Vishwarup, yeah.
Yeah. So Rishi Vishwarup, and Rishi Vishwarup was son of like Devta's side, but he had a mother of demons side. So he had soft corner for demons as well. He was doing Havan Yajna for Devtas, but then he was also doing Ahuti for demons. Indradev realized that and he took away his head. So basically he took away Rishi Vishwarup, which was like a Brahman Hatya of a tapasvi, highest level of tapasvi. Tvashta being his father, he did the yajna, and when he was doing the yajna, he did not pronounce the mantras properly, and Vṛtrāsura appeared. Vṛtrāsura is also known as Indra Shatru, because he wanted to take revenge for his brother Rishi Vishwarup. And what we are reading right now is the fight which is going on between Vritasura and Indradev. What has happened so far is Indradev got a vraj built out of bones of whose? Dadichi Muni, right? Dadichi Muni was the expert, yeah, in Narayan Kavach. Vishwakarma built the vraj for Indradev. Using that, so Vritasura, being a bhakt, he was also like a kind of a devotee. He knew he has to surrender to Lord Vishnu. And he knew he is not going to win because Indradev has the vraj guided by Lord Vishnu himself. So he is asking Indradev to really take him out using that vraj so that he can go back to Godhead. And he's talking the transcendental message right now. And that's what we are reading. So let's start with Shlok 13. Ajay.
आयुः श्री कीर्तिरेश्वर माशिषः पुरुषस्य याः भवन्त्येव हि तत्काले यथा निर्छोपिवर्या. Just as a person not inclined to die must nonetheless give up his longevity, opulence, fame, and everything else at the time of death, so at the appointed time of victory, one can gain all these when the Supreme Lord awards them by his mercy. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So who is saying this right now? Who is speaking?
Vritasura?
Vṛtrāsura, right? So Vṛtrāsura is giving this transcendental message to whom?
Indra?
Lord Indra.
To Indradev, right? Because the position is such that Indradev has taken away Vṛtrāsura's arms, but then he has got Indradev and the Vahan, and so Indradev is not getting up because he's feeling ashamed, because his Vraj is down, his Rath is down, and so Vṛtrāsura is just, asking him to get up and fight, essentially. So he's giving this transcendental message. He's saying that basically he's giving a message, it's going to be your victory, but just like a person not inclined to die, right? No one wants to die, right? In this physical world. But what happens is still when the time comes, right? No one has control. They have to give away. They have to give away the Ayu, Shri, right? Kirti, Aishwarya, right? All those things have to be given away when the time comes. On the other hand, what Vṛtrāsura is saying is similarly, when the time for victory will come, you will also gain that victory and get all this back. So this is how Vṛtrāsura is talking to Indradev. We'll continue reading this. Prem sir.
Tasmad Akirti Yasasur Jayapa Jaya Yor Api Sama Sayat Sukha Dukha Bhinyam Bhayam Mrityu Jivitsyotstha. Since everything is dependent on the supreme will of the personality of Godhead, one should be equipoised in the fame and defamation, victory and defeat, life and death. In their effects represented as happiness and distress, one should maintain oneself in equilibrium without anxiety. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Vṛtrāsura continues telling Indradev that it doesn't matter what's going on. Everything is ultimately dependent on the supreme will of the personality of Godhead. So because of that, he's advising Indra, right? Like whether it's Kirti, Yas, Jay, or Ajay, Parajay, right? In anything, Sukh, Dukh, Mrityu, Jivit, life and death, one should maintain oneself in equilibrium without anxiety, because everything is ultimately dependent on supreme will of the supreme personality of Godhead. Nisha?
Tattvam rajastam iti prakriteratmano gunaha tatra sakshinam yo vedasana badhyate. One who knows that the three qualities, goodness, passion, and ignorance, are not qualities of the soul, but qualities of material nature, and who knows that the pure soul is simply an observer of the actions and reactions of these qualities, should be understood to be liberated person. He is not bound to by these qualities. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So continue transcendental message, as we know, three qualities, right? Three modes, right, of the materialistic world, which is Sattva, Raj, and Tam. Satogun, Rajogun, and Tamogun, right? Those are not the qualities of soul, is what is being mentioned. Yeah, those are qualities of the material nature, and the conditioned soul, when we get the materialistic body, our soul gets conditioned, and we come in contact of those three qualities, right? Satogun, Rajogun, and Tamogun. All our actions and reactions, right, are impacted by those gunas. Sometimes you are in the Rajo mode, Tamo mode, Satogun, and all that. People who tend to go to more and more Satogun, right, more goodness, yeah, can then suddenly get out of all these karmas and then be a pure soul devoted to Lord Shri Krishna, right? And so what he's saying is all these Prakriti gunas, yeah, all these three gunas, the person who knows that pure soul is not impacted, should not be impacted by those gunas, he knows the way, right? He knows the way and na badhyate. So then he is not entangled into this law of karma. Yeah, is what is being mentioned here. Very nice purport actually. So let's read this. Tarun.
As the Lord explains in Bhagavad Gita 18.54, Brahma Bhuta Prasanna Atma Na Sosati Na Kansati Sama Sarvesu Bhutesu Mad Bhaktim Labhete Param. One who is transcendentally situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed to every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. When one attains self-realization, the Brahma Bhuta stage, one knows that whatever happens during his life is due to the contamination of the modes of material nature. The living being, the pure soul, has nothing to do with these modes. In the midst of the hurricane of the material world, everything changes very quickly, but if one remains silent and simply observes the actions and reactions of the hurricane, is understood to be liberated. The real qualification of the liberated soul is that he remains Krishna conscious, undisturbed by the actions and reactions of the material energy. Such a liberated person is always jubilant. He never laments or aspires for anything. Since everything is supplied by the Supreme Lord, the living entity, being fully dependent on him, should not protest or accept anything in terms of his personal sense gratification. Rather, he should receive everything as the mercy of the Lord and remain steady in all circumstances. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So the characteristics of a liberated soul is what is described here, right? And the qualification of a liberated soul is that he remains Krishna conscious. And what does that mean? Krishna conscious means is total surrender to Lord Shri Krishna. And the surrender means doing bhakti, right? And we have read doing bhakti is those 9 different types we can do. Bhakti and devote and surrender to Lord Shri Krishna. And what is being mentioned is if we surrender ourselves to Lord Shri Krishna, then all the karmas and the actions and reactions which we are doing, right, and we are not impacted by that. Such a liberated person is not impacted by those actions and reactions. And then what happens is he doesn't need to get any reaction because there was no action. He can go back to Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, right? So the goal is remaining Krishna consciousness. Pashyamamni jirtam shatru vriknayudbhujam mrige ghatmanam yatha shakti tav pranajihirshaya. O my enemy, just look at me. I have already been defeated, for my weapon and arm have been cut to pieces. You have already overwhelmed me, but nonetheless, with a desire to kill you, I am trying my best to fight. I am not at all morose, even under such adverse conditions. Therefore, you should give up your moroseness and continue fighting. Yeah? So Vritasura is encouraging Indradev that look, right? I'm still fighting even though all those things have happened. You should not give up and continue fight. Yeah, is what he's telling to Indra. Ajay?
प्राण गल्हो यम समर ईश्वक्षो वाहनासनः अत्र न ज्ञायते अमुष्य जयो अमुष्य पराजय. O my enemy, consider the battle a gambling match in which our lives are the stakes, the arrows are the dice, and the animals acting as carriers are the game board. No one can understand who will be defeated and who will be victorious. It all depends on providence. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah? Hare Krishna, Sachin?
Hare Krishna. Sri Shuka Uach. Indro Vṛtrāvachah Shrutva Gatalikam Pujayat. Gruhita Vajraha Prahasanstamaha Gata Vismayaha. Sukadeva Goswami said, hearing the straightforward instructive words of Vṛtrāsura, King Indra praised him and again took the thunderbolt in his hand. Without bewilderment or duplicity, he then smiled and spoke to Vritasura as follows. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yeah. So, after hearing all these transcendental words from Vritasura, Indradev became kind of happy, and then he also took the thunderbolt, the brush, in his hand again. Is what is being mentioned. And let's read this purport. Prem sir?
King Indra, the greatest of the demigods, was astonished to hear the instructions of Vritasura, who was supposed to be a demon. He was struck with wonder that a demon could speak so intelligently. Then he remembered great devotees like Prahlad Maharaj and Bali Maharaj, who had been born in the families of demons, and thus he came to his senses. Even so-called demons sometimes have exalted devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, Indra smiled reassuringly at Vritasura. Hare Krishna.
Nisha?
इन्द्र उवाच अहो दानव सिद्धोऽसि यस्य ते मतिरीदृशी भक्तः सर्वात्मनात्मानं सहृदं जगदीश्वरम्. Indra said, O great demon, I see by your discrimination and endurance in devotional service, despite your dangerous position, that you are a perfect devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Super Soul and friend of everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Indradev realizes that Vritasura is Bhakta Sarva Atmanam. Yeah, Srihadam Jagdishwaram. Yeah, he is totally devoted to Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah, and can a nice purpose. So let's read this. Tarun. Tarun.
Sorry. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 6.22, Yam labdva kaperam labham manyate nadikam tata yasmin sthito na dukkhena gurunapi vichalyate. Established in Krishna consciousness, one never departs from the truth, and upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain. Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of the greatest difficulty. An unalloyed devotee is never disturbed by any kind of trying circumstance. Indra was surprised to see that Vṛtrāsura, undisturbed, was fixed in devotional service to the Lord. For such a mentality is impossible for a demon. However, by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, anyone can become an exalted devotee. Striyo, Vaisyas, Tatha, Sudras, Te Spi Yanti Param Gatim. An unalloyed devotee is sure to return home back to Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So what is mentioned is if somebody becomes a devotee, surrenders to Lord Shri Krishna, it doesn't matter what form of the body one is, what caste he is. Yeah. An unalloyed devotee who is surrendered to Lord Shri Krishna is sure to return home back to Godhead, is what is being mentioned. Yeah. And comes from Bhagavad Gita 6.22. भवानुताशिन मायाम्बे वैष्णवीं जन्मोहिनीं यत् विहाय सुरं भावं महापुरुष ताम गतः. You have surmounted the illusory energy of Lord Vishnu, and because of this liberation, you have given up the demonic mentality and have attained the position of an exalted devotee. Who is speaking right now?
Indra.
Indradev.
Yeah, Indradev to Vritasura. Yeah?
Vṛtrāsura.
Yeah. So he's saying that Mahapurush Tam Gata, you have attained the position of an exalted devotee. So what is being mentioned here? Prem sir?
Lord Vishnu is the Mahapurusha. Therefore, one who becomes a Vaishnava attains the position of a Mahapurusha. This position was attained by Maharaja Parikshit. It is said in the Padma Puran that the distinction between a demigod and a demon is that a demigod is a devotee of Lord Vishnu, whereas a demon is just the opposite. Vishnu Bhakta Smrto Daiva Asura Tad Vipriya Yaya. Vṛtrāsura was considered a demon, but actually he was more than qualified as a devotee or Mahapurusha. If one somehow becomes a devotee of the Supreme Lord, whatever be his position, he can be brought to the position of a perfect person. This is possible if an unalloyed devotee tries to serve the Lord by delivering him in his way, in this way. Therefore, Sukadeva Goswami says in Srimad Bhagavatam 2.4.18, Kirita Hunandra Pulinda Pulkasa Abhira Sumbha Yavana Kasadaya Ye Necha Papa Yad Apasyare Sharaye Sudhyanti Tasmai Prabhavishneve Nama. Kiritas, Huns, Andhras, Pulindas, Pulkashas, Abhiras, Sumbhas, Yavanas, and members of the Khasa races are, and even others addicted to sinful acts can be purified by taking shelter of the devotees of the Lord. For he is the supreme power. I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Anyone can be purified if he takes shelter of a pure devotee and molds his character according to the pure devotee's direction. Then even if one is a Kirita, Andhra, Pulinda or whatever, he can be purified and elevated to the position of a Mahapurusha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah? So what is the important message here is that if one somehow becomes a devotee of the Supreme Lord, whatever his position is, right? Whatever our position is, he can be brought to the position of a perfect person. Yeah. Says anyone can be purified if he takes shelter of a pure devotee. Yeah. Or Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, is what is being mentioned here. Yeah. Sachin?
कल्विदं महदाश्चर्यं यद रजः प्रकृतैस्तव वासुदेवे भगवती सत्वात्मनि दृढ़ा मतिः. O Vṛtrāsura, demons are generally conducted by the mode of passion. Therefore, what a great wonder it is that although you are a demon, you have adopted the mentality of a devotee and have fixed your mind on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, who is always situated in pure goodness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so Indradev is really happy that Vritasura, yeah, has situated in Vasudeve Bhagavati Sattva Atmani Dridhamati. Yeah, situated in pure goodness with the mind fixed on Lord Vasudeva. Ajay?
So, Yasya bhakti bhargavati haro nishreyaseshwarai vikrindato amrito mam madhu kim shudray khat kodakai. A person fixed in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord Hari, the Lord of the highest auspiciousness, swims in the ocean of nectar. For him, what is the use of the water in small ditches? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. What is being mentioned here really is that Bhagavati, Bhakti Bhagavati Haro, yeah, one who is really engaged in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord Hari, yeah, he swims in the ocean of nectar, Amritam Bhogo, yeah, he's swimming in the ocean of nectar. So if he's swimming in the ocean of nectar, what is the use of the water in small ditches? Means, what is the use of all these materialistic ambitions and the senses? Yeah, is what is being mentioned. Again, nice purpose. So let's read this. Prem sir.
Vritasura has formally prayed Bhagavad Bhag 6.11.25. Na naka prasthan na cha varmeshyatam na sarva bhauman na rasidapatayam. I do not want the facilities for happiness on Brahmaloka, Swargloka, or even Dhruvaloka, not to speak of this earth or the lower planets. I simply want to return home, back to Godhead. This is the determination of a pure devotee. A pure devotee is never attracted to any exalted position within this material world. He simply wants to associate with the Supreme Personality of Godhead like the inhabitants of Vrindavana. Srimati Radharani, the gopis, Krishna's father and mother, Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, Krishna's friends and Krishna's servants. He wants to associate with Krishna's atmosphere of Vrindavan's beauty. These are the highest ambitions of a devotee of Krishna. Devotees of Lord Vishnu may aspire for a position in Vaikuntha Loka, but a devotee of Krishna never aspires even for the facilities of Vaikuntha. He wants to return to Goloka Vrindavana and associate with Lord Krishna in his eternal pastimes. Any material happiness is like water in a ditch, whereas the spiritual happiness eternally enjoyed in the spiritual world is like an ocean of nectar in which a devotee wants to swim. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. And we have read this one, right? From Vritasura. We na nakaprishtam, na parameshtam, na sarva bhumam. Yeah. He doesn't wish to go in any of the loks, any of those 14 planets. He wants to go back to Golok. Tarun?
Shri Shukvacha iti bruvana anyonyam dhamma jijnasya narpraya yudhate date mahavirya indra vrityo yuddham pati. Sri Sukdev Goswami said, Vṛtrāsura and King Indra spoke about devotional service even on the battlefield, and then as a matter of duty, they again began fighting. My dear king, both of them were great fighters and were equally powerful. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So Sri Shukdev Goswami is continuing to tell Srimad Bhagavatam to
Maharaj Parikshit.
Maharaj Parikshit, right? So he's telling him that both were great fighters, and even though they were fighting, yeah, they spoke about devotional service, even on the battlefield. Nisha?
आविद्य परिगम वृतः कार्ष्णाय समरिन्दम् इंद्राय प्राहिणोद्घोरम् वामहस्तेन मारिष. O Maharaj Parikshit, Vritasura was completely able to subdue his enemy took his iron club, whirled it around, aimed it at Indra, and then threw it at him with his left hand. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so they again started fighting. Yeah. Sachin?
Tatu Vṛtrāsura Parigham Karam Cha Kara Bhupa Mama Chicheda Yuga Yugapadevo Vajrena Shataparvana. With his thunderbolt named Shataparvana, Indra simultaneously cut to pieces Vritasura's club and his remaining hand. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Huh? Ajay?
दोभ्यार मृत कुल कुत मूलाभ्याम बभौ रक्त स्त्रवो असुरः छिन्न पक्षो यथा गोत्रः खाद भ्रष्टो वज्रणाहतः. Vritasura, bleeding profusely, his two arms cut off at their roots, looked very beautiful, like a flying mountain whose wings have been cut to pieces by Indra. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Huh? It says, it appears from the statement of this verse that sometimes there are flying mountains and that their wings are cut by the thunderbolt of Indra. Vritasura's huge body resembled such a mountain. Right? So he's still fighting even without having the arms. Mahaprano Mahaviryo Mahasarpa iva dvipam Pitao dharam hanum bhumo Detyo divyutaram hanum Nabho gambhira vaktrena Leli holbana jihiya Danstrabhi kalakalpa Abhigrasanniva jagatyatrayam Ati matra mahakaya Akshi panstarasa girin Girirat padachari Padmyam nirjarayan mahim Jagrasa se samasadhya Vajrinam Sahvahanam. Vritasura was very powerful in physical strength and influence. He placed his lower jaw on the ground and his upper jaw in the sky. His mouth became very deep, like the sky itself, and his tongue resembled a large serpent. With his fearful, death-like teeth, he seemed to be trying to devour the entire universe. Thus, assuming a gigantic body, the great demon Vritasura shook even the mountains and began crushing the surface of the earth with his legs, as if he were the Himalayas walking about. He came before Indra and swallowed him and Airavat, his carrier, just as a big python might swallow an elephant. Yeah. So what is being mentioned is Vritasura, he opened his mouth, right? His lower jaw on the ground, upper jaw in the sky. Says here, like Kitao Dharam, Hanum is the jaw, Bhumo, right, on the earth, and then Detyo Divyuttaram Uttaram Hanum, and Divyu Uttaram Hanum, like the upper jaw on in the sky. And having that, Jagrasa Samasadya Vajrinam Sahvahanam. Sahvahanam, like along with Airavat, he took Indradev, he swallowed Indradev along with Airavat. That's how much big mouth he opened. Yeah. Prem sir?
Vastra Grastam Tam Alokya Saprajat Pataya Sura Ha Kastmiti Nirvashna Shu Krishu Samharshya. When the demigods, along with Brahma, other Prajapatis, and other great saintly persons, saw that Indra had been swallowed by the demon, they became very morose. Alas, they lamented, what a calamity, what a calamity. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, when Indradev is in the mouth of Vritasura, of course, everyone, including Lord Brahma, are all wondering what's going on. I think we are going to pause here and we'll continue to read this tomorrow. and see what happens next. Yeah. And then again, like as we have been hearing, Damodar Ashtakam, this is Kartik month. I think till end of this month is Kartik month. So we are going to hear Damodar Ashtakam. Yeah.
Shadapiva
Sri Radhe Golokananda Bhagwan ki
Jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Huh?
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Cool. So we'll continue reading tomorrow, 9:30 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah. So see you tomorrow. Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.